It's so good to hear you talking about that dark night of the soul, because for many people, when they are seeking, they imagine that, once this beautiful awakening happens, then it's happy ever after. And surprise, surprise, there is a cleanup period. There is
Cleanup,
darkness. Yes, and it's so intense, and we can cry a bucket of tears and go mad, and
it's actually, I'm really passionate about that. It's like bringing the human in the human.
Hello, Maria. Great to be with you. Thank you for agreeing to come on the show. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Thanks for the invitation, Ilona.
And can you tell a little bit where you are, like in which country, what you do, just like general stuff?
The practical bits.
Yes.
I'm Greek. I'm originating from the beautiful island of Crete. Don't know if you've ever been. It's proper hot there too, as well. Probably similar temperature to Mauritius Island as well at the moment. I'm currently living in Manchester. I've got 3 children. I'm a busy mom, busy bee, and a husband. And I've been here since 2007. And I left in 2000. I left in 3 days, in the space of 3 days. I came to study my counseling and psychotherapy course, and it was one of these little glimpses, you could call it. I was in a relationship at the time, and I remember telling my partner at the time, all logic says no, but my intuition says I need to go there to meet myself.
And did you meet yourself?
Yeah.
Yay! In Manchester?
Well, I never left, really, looking all the way back, the circle. Yeah, it's just, grace is here for all of us at all times, isn't it? And it's just joy to know that, to have these new eyes, to really look back and make sense of life, looking backwards from this place of here and now. So that were my words coming from the depths of my soul, whilst my ego was freaking out in panic, trying to get ready in 3 days from the receiving of the letter, because I had to be here at a specific point to do an obligatory kind of intensive. And I left very quickly.
Sweet. Okay, so the show is called Awakening Now. And I would like to know, in your words, what is awakening? How do you define it? What does it mean to you, this word awakening?
The current experience is that there is an organic sort of, we call it preference, call it a dissolving of all of this terminology. It's like there's a part that something's coming, just drop it all out. However, it used to be part of the story. What is awakening? Well, it's not anything separate than what we do from waking up from sleep in the morning. So, are you asking me from my experience, Ilona? Would you like to hear?
Yes, I would like to hear what happened. How was it before? What happened during?
Yes.
And what happened after? But just for the listener, it's nice to know what you mean by word awakening.
Yeah, well, awakening back to our true nature, which is nothing but love.
Oh, wow.
That's what it feels. And I'm, waking into the place that we never departed, through the portal of our identity, because this is the very portal. Well, for everybody, but there's different portals as well that people can awaken into that sense of stillness and unconditional presence that's here in all human beings. And that's a very deep-rooted conviction and truth. For a while in the seeking days, let's call them that, There used to be this incessant, from a childhood really, looking back, there was always a very alive sense of, let's call it, connection to grace or connection to truth, which I suspect every human has this. It's just when we look back, it's like, oh yeah, from this place we recognize these moments. So memory that's coming to me now is when I was probably was 6 years old, and my grandma was at home, and I had this obsession to listen to a tape of a guy that has put melody in the morning songs of women, the real words of women who lost a partner or a husband, and he's put melody. And I remember loving sitting by the radio and putting that cassette and just crying my eyes out. 6. There was a longing for, there's a from the soul, there was and a very clear voice, message, God, grace, you name it. Just let it all out. It's healing you from within.
Wow, at 6 years old.
Yes.
Amazing.
That memory came back to me when I was doing my master's. But it's still, and I remember sharing that with a therapist at the time. And they given me an interpretation about the grieving loss of the relationship I didn't have with my mother. And something didn't fully, something didn't fully resonate. And all of these interpretations are gorgeous for what they are until they are not, and something else comes in. And and then many other moments of, connections with the spirit realm, let's call it that way, having a sense of sensing something out of through the veil, which at the time would cause fear. So that's the memory that just popped up now. And in the seeking, so there's a burning desire from a very young age to seek the truth, to find the truth, without even having a conceptual understanding of what is this truth I'm looking for from since I remember me. And as a little girl, I used to be they used to call me the it depends girl. They would ask me a question and there would not be an answer, a black and white answer that would. It depends. It so,
depends.
So it depends. It depends on the context. So an innocent ability that is within us all to look at the grayness and beyond the polarities. That space of beyond polarities, which is gray, it's colorful, it's and so looking back, there was always glimpses, milder or stronger, and then that led me to come to England to study, to become a psychotherapist. That was a great stepping stone from grace to turn into cultivating compassion and understanding and healing the story of Maria and the wounds that came in the story. And then life was giving stronger glimpses. So my journey began. I never read any books or, I just was introduced to a spiritual teacher who was doing self-inquiry.
Oh, wow.
From an ex-boyfriend at the time. So I would just find myself being in Manchester, living my life, and then I would be home alone because my partner and my current husband, Connor, would be at work. And what shall I do? I'm just going to put this guy again on YouTube and just sit. So I would spend many times just on my own on the sofa in the living room, watching the self-inquiries and having moments of what I now see as melting. Not having a conscious awareness of what that was, not even bothering to even find. Just enjoying the experience. And so I started with self-inquiry straight away. it was culminating in time, and life led me to start to discover and explore the more subtle realms, let's call it, of energy. Study sound healing and study Reiki, and so life was moving me towards a more spiritual dimension. And I want to say more. It's not separate from what was before, but it was a more fine-tuned kind of exploration. And then that kept the momentum. I remember attending workshops frantically, shamanic ceremonies, holotropic breathworks, and I was getting a lot of glimpses, strong glimpses all along the way. So the momentum of seeking began to accelerate.
How
until
long
the Big
did that
Bang.
last, that seeking? You could
Probably a year.
Oh, wow. Very quick.
Yeah.
Not
quick.
Yes, very quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I would see it all as seeking before. That's how it feels. It feels all it was seeking, but in different kind of degrees, in a way. And that accelerated place, it was very quick. There was a compelling, looking back, it's like, yeah, Grace was like, speed it up now, to finish this. And unbeknown to me, that intensity in the seeking can actually expand and open up somebody as we know it very rapidly, and it can have a very sudden kind of bursting through. I wasn't conscious fully yet what I was looking for. It was just a sense of something, a movement that was happening. And then I would say in January 2019, it was a shamanic ceremony, and I had a spontaneous Kundalini.
Oh, wow.
Didn't know what Kundalini was before then. But it was, by that stage, a sense of openness and receptivity and trust, I guess, was sprinkling along the way and deepening. Looking back, it's just so all beautifully orchestrated by life, really. And the Kundalini awakening happened, and then the energetics came through the body. I guess a deeper kind of shedding through the energetic body. And then in 2019, I went to a five-day retreat with that teacher that I was following all of these years since 2008, but on and off, living life, like integrating. So it's been very gradual a gradual unfolding. That's how it's felt. With the last burst towards the end, perhaps. And that was it. When I was at Muji's retreat, it became all clear. So I can describe the moment that, as we know, it never leaves us. That moment of pure clarity, when it's here, it was all seen. It was like all my life flashed through my eyes, and it was like beads of a necklace with an apparent separation in between them. And the necklace is been waiting graciously and patiently to be worn. That's how it felt. And it's like, whoa, I've been here all along. So all memories that were coming up in that moment, it felt like they were imploding within this timeless dimension, as if they were seen from here. It's the only way to describe it. They were really seen from, as if happening now. And it's like, whoa, time collapsed. And within that, the linear structure of identity collapsed. I didn't know that was called an awakening then. It just happened. And I remember leaving, because of course the journey is unfolding after that, doesn't it? So yeah, I don't know. You want to ask something? Then.
So how long did that process of this culmination of this awakening, as you see it now, how long did it last for you?
I remember getting out of the retreat and singing in bliss. The word just there's a lot of joy and a lot of bliss. Probably a week.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I think there was a combination of strong experiences happening, but that was like the penultimate. Whoa! What? I'm here. I've been here all along. What I've been seeking. But of course, the mind came very soon after that. Is that it? Is that it? I remember thinking, is that it? So, but what ensued, because these two major kind of bursts through the structure happened very quickly between each other, January and June. Mm-hmm. Then a 2-year period, I'd say, it was during lockdown, and over that period, dark night of the soul, looking back, happened. Mm-hmm. And a total dissolution. This is where it was really felt, all the, up until that point, even the identity of a psychotherapist was camouflaged and with a lovely ribbon, created. So, ways to ground yourself was learned, and to ground the, none of it began working. It's like everything was just shh. So I remember doing that, and I was pregnant at the time. And I was suicidal at the time. But despite the darkness, there was this strong conviction. This is clearing. This is not me. So creation, I feel moved just saying that, creation was gifting me, literally, on a physical, but also on an energetic and a deepening at the same time. Motherhood is a pattern in this journey, clearly. I don't know why, I don't know where, it's gonna, but it seems to be, everybody has different kind of contexts in their lives through which surrender is invited, and a deepening. But there was a true conviction that this is not me. This is just let it all happen. It was a surrender, I guess, a total surrender. And I remember the only thing that for days I was able to do, I felt naked. No clothes attached, no layers, so everything stripped. And despite the outside world being, worried, there was this innate kind of, this is a phase, it won't last. I remember lying on the sofa, drinking my tea and watching the clouds passing. And in many ways, this is the only thing that I could do. And everything becoming really alive in my living room. Then I would see the portraits in my wall, and I would feel such love for the creation of this object that's just hanging and is bringing beauty in my, in my living room. But it's through the shadows. It's the only way that it seems to be expressing itself, and still now, how else can we cultivate and live in this human body? Can't just be out there. For a long while, there was a story. To be good at meditation, you need to be in a mountain somewhere, cross-legged and meditating. It wasn't the story of my life, because I was a mom and I was busy. So back in the day, I would begin meditating on the buses, wherever I was. So life was always showing me, you are where you are, So yeah, and I guess since then it's been a deepening and a deepening and a deepening. And
It's so good to hear you talking about that dark night of the soul, because for many people, when they are seeking, they imagine that, once this beautiful awakening happens, then it's happy ever after. And surprise, surprise, there is a cleanup period. There is
Cleanup,
darkness. Yes, and it's so intense, and we can cry a bucket of tears and go mad, and
it's actually, I'm really passionate about that. It's like bringing the human in the human. It's like my beloved, beautiful woman and current teacher says, actually it was shared in one of the groups I'm part of. It's like having one heart here and one heart up here. Can be in both at the same time. We are both at the same time. And I thought that was a beautiful sort of physical, analogy.
Wait, I would add the feet on the floor or the feet on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
that's the grounding. That's the I'm here, this body.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's the only way for, at least this is how it's expressing in my experience. I'm not, other people I'm open to that. People might be, I'm actually living in this absolute reality, and that's where this grace has decided to gift me, and fine. But it's not been my experience, and we can only talk the fragrance of our own journey, but speaking from the same place and pointing to that universal place. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm asking everyone, what would be your best advice to somebody who is still seeking, who is still looking for that experience, for that shift? I know it's your experience, you can only share what you know, but if somebody was asking you, give me your best advice.
They are their own guru. They are their own guru. This has been a very strong part of the story for a while. I wouldn't want to call that teacher my teacher. No, there's a real rebel fire in this divine personality that doesn't want to ascribe to any gurus. And it was only when awakening happened, there was a sense of non-separation. I'm the same as you. And I can see myself everywhere. And so, when people come to me, I'm pointing continuously back to that, back to their own. The truth is expressed from their mouths, but they don't know it. So I'm just reflecting back what they say, and just give a little bit of a spin, a tweak of what truth that's maybe remaining a little veiled. They are their inner guru, and to trust that everything that's occurring is happening for their highest good. There's such a conviction in this. It's unshakable, unwavering truth. No matter what the experience of suffering is. And we're not dismissing the suffering. I'm fully embracing the sense of contraction or suffering, or however you want to call it, because it's the very portal.
Can you tell a little bit more about that? How can you look into suffering and see that portal? Because so many people will go like, what do you mean? Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, it's taking that continuous, I guess, meeting somebody who has gone through the process can help to mirror back, or finding a community of people that have gone through that process and share experience help to normalize. And actually, it's not just me. This is the hive mind existing in everybody. So it breaks that illusion of loneliness and separation, I guess. But when we look into our direct experiencing, what we really are finding, and I know that it's easier said than done, is thoughts and stories about our experiencing. That actually, if we look really closely, it's a human instinct, isn't it? So we cannot just say this is wrong. It's part of grace. So this spirituality here is not excluding anything. It's not giving absolutes. It's not giving any hierarchies. So when suffering is here, we're staying with that. And when the portal is open, we can begin to inquire a little bit deeper, very gently, but very openly, with a kind of playful curiosity. Shall we just have a closer look?
Mm-hmm.
And what we really notice is that there is an aversion to the intensity that's happening. And the aversion is coming from the mind.
Yeah.
And or a grasping, oh, bliss, I want it, either or. It's just mind creating stories and creating and adding layers that, I was about to say, that are not necessary. However, if the layers are there, they can be seen what they are. So who is the one that's witnessing? Where is this contraction arising in? That's been the inquiry. And can that's appearing in suffer? Which isn't a place, because as we know, where is it? No, it's nowhere and everywhere. It's nowhere and everywhere. It's so empty and yet so full of life and so intimately interwoven with who we are, So have a lot of compassion. I have only compassion and only heart, and heart inquiry, I call these invitations in my practice. For a while, for a little while, there was a sense of, even in my practice as psychotherapist, I was like, oh gosh, I feel bored. What's going on? I feel bored. And I got worried initially. It was like, what's happening? Something was deepening. And very quickly sort of dissolved. Mm-hmm. Because I was saying that, grace is offered psychotherapy to be part of as a stepping stone. I can't discard it. So some integration is happening effortlessly, and people are coming through, are the right people who are at the right time. So grace is working it all out. There's no thinking, no doing, no planning. It's just more and more surrendering, deeper and deeper surrendering. Yummy. Yummy, isn't it? It's so yummy.
Yeah, I'm curious, how did your work change, all this psychotherapy? Did it change at all? Like the way you approach your clients? So
it's interesting, because looking back, I was very much working from this place all along. I'm just working more consciously. So the approach that I was trained in was person-centered approach, which is at its core, it's got the non-directiveness. So at its core, it's got the value, I'm not the expert. You are the expert of your life. And that sits at the heart of what I offer, what is offered. I have nothing to offer. This is it, So the practice is shifted in that the name that arrived is, it's like an apparent movement that happened from being a person-centered therapist to present-centered.
Oh, that's therapy. Beautiful.
Isn't it just? It was like the website was staying in impregnation phase for a year. It was like, just render, it's not the time yet, we're in God's timing, it will come. And then I was just sitting on my sofa one morning, it was like, oh yeah, oh my God, it's so obvious.
Just a few letters in the word exchange.
I know. Well, but the mind would go into these stories sometimes. Oh, what name? And it needs to be, which was all observed and shh. So it's just here. Everything is just so effortlessly here. Isn't it just? So my practice has changed. So I never really had clients who would come to me to explore deep traumas.
I see.
Which obviously there's no separation. We attract what we are. But if trauma would come in, who would be there? Would meet it for what it was. But at the time, it was meeting it through a sense of limited identity, healing the trauma and healing, helping them to say, I guess, to develop compassion. And that's been the main kind of, which is essential, really, expanding the heart. So I guess having a limited sense of identity and with the expansion here being more contracted, more contained, it's like water in a glass. How much waves can you have in a water in a glass? How many contractions, right? Yeah.
Right.
But if you're the ocean, just waves come splashing and there's just more space to hold it all. It's really hard to say how it's changed because it's not, I don't see it as a practice. I know, we use it, that word. It's not, it's the undoing of me seems to have an effect, but it's not personal. It's like, it's happening. There's no separation. I see myself everywhere. I see myself in all my clients. And they can feel that, and I guess what I have noticed perhaps is the changes are more instant, more, the dropping in is faster. You could say faster, it is what it is.
And if somebody from people who are listening would like to come to you for sessions, how can they find you?
If you Google Presence Center Psychotherapy, you'll find it. I can send you the, if you want me, I can send you the information.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah. I can just bask here.
Yeah.
Really.
When the words calm down, it can just be relax, enjoy.
There's a lot of fire in this. There's a lot of dynamism and fire and a joy.
And did your family notice a shift or something that you are different, mom, perhaps?
Well, I don't know. I think you communicate with your children in a much more through the veil kind of manner. So it's very clear that when there's some shadows that's coming up or there's some thinking that's emerging that is of the limited identity, but witness from that place. It's like it's got this invisible ripple effect outside in the 3D life. And you truly see the non-separation. So we can call that frequency or vibration, the vibration that we truly inhabit. And here it's what's coming outside. So if I have a bad day, if I haven't slept, and and stuff come through, which are witnessed and seen and not believed, but they still come through. They still, the mind has still its own script. I will notice that, my child will not feeling 100%. And it's just fascinating to witness those invisible strings, how they play, what the music that's been played behind the words. But I'd say there's more space. to hold that's emerging. Yeah. And love, they are my teachers, they are my gurus. Continuous invitations to surrender, to love, to patience. We really live in my family in a lot of uncertainty. It's like we swim in it. It's like there's not much planning. There's very much. It's always been that way, but even more so. I used to be the one. Let's plan. Let's but with an angst kind of. What shall we do? Feeling responsible as a mom. All of that. But now it's just like things are happening. The inner landscape here has changed. So there's so much more space. And if park happens, and things are actually unfolding. Decisions are being made. All the things happen as they were, but the inner landscape is it's like a playful playground. Yeah. What's now? And what's now? Really, there's no planning happening, very rarely. But I still happen somehow to meet people. And for the kids to,
Yes, I know what you mean.
It's just, yeah.
So you don't have 5-year plan for your future?
It's so funny because back in the days I used to try so hard to plan. And still now it's not coming naturally, but there's still an echo of this mind that's like, okay, well, I guess with this awakening now, this experience, what is it? What am I meant to do with it? And this keeps dissolving more and more and more. And when that surrender happens, it's like just trust. And how in 1 week I had 2 invitations for interviews. Just like, okay, yeah, just rest. And if any doing is happening, it's really happening in such a spontaneous manner. So I could be washing the dishes and then it's like I'm sat on a computer to check something else and then I'm finding myself making a video about something, that just I wouldn't intend to do that. Okay, just go with it. Mm-hmm. So flowing, yeah.
Flowing. That's a sweet place to be.
Oh, yeah.
So much nicer than pushing and pulling and trying to control.
Yeah.
Especially other people. It's such a hard work, isn't it?
Yes, it's so hard. Convincing as a story for our human mind and our humankind. Such a convincing story. However, I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same. I feel it's collapsing on a global scale. It's really. I mean, we see it in LU. How many people? I see it from the psychotherapy field. It's like people are using. They're returning. I'm doing this. They're returning back to where they never left.
Yes.
So it's such a wow. It's a space. It's such a beautiful, joyful, no reason place to be. And that doesn't mean for the listener that contractions don't arise. So I don't want that to be seen as, you're left living this blissful flowing. When the waves come, you just ride them, but there's no identity to attach. I should do my breathing to control it. Or it's just, you can't. You can't. Can we contain the fountains in nature? Can we stop the storm from happening?
No.
In our natural world, storm is here.
Yes, and in the natural world, we see that storm is here. We don't even try to contain it. But
exactly.
with this,
that's what I mean. Why would it be separate?
It is the same nature. It is the same happening.
Yeah,
it's wild. But there is that wanting or needing or hoping.
Mm-hmm.
And when that falls away, there is this flowing.
Yeah,
natural.
There's actually joy in the actual riding of. I explained it recently. It's like a galloping horse comes your way, and you just feel it. You feel it rising. I feel it energetically and bodily lately. It's like this body wave. and it's like it's got to do its thing. So I've got to come in here, make space for it, and do whatever it's right, what feels right in the moment, and then go back and wash dishes again. It's like there's a joy. There may be tears. They may be sitting here. I don't know what I'm crying, but I'm just trusting it. It just needs to flash through, and that's it. And it passes so faster, so much faster. And then the joy. Things are dissolving that way. They're dissolved that way, and shamanic tribes call that the hollow bone. It's emptying.
Empty. Mm-hmm.
It's flashing.
Yeah. Nice to just stay here, stay quiet, be with whatever is arising, let it all flash by itself.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's it. We are here. We are already here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there is nowhere to arrive other than where we are.
No. Yeah. No. If we attempt to use words even at that level, it's like it's not even wise. It's nothing. It's none of these labels. It just is. And that's the closest that we can get to it. But this isness.
Do you have any final words or no words or?
No. No. The only thing I'd say is that because we are in what feels like a global awakening from sleep, and of course there's more exposure out there, more stories and more that can feed even more the how this should look like. Is just keep returning. Yes, that's a story. What's here? Yes, that's an experience. Oh, that's how it was for that person. How is it appearing here? How is it appearing here? It might appear as singing and dancing in the community. It might appear as being the most loving, compassionate, kind mom. It might appear as communicating this truth to other people. Every person is so unique, and it feels that I guess that can be lost, appear to be lost anyway. The noise. It's all part of the play. Can't do something about it.
Yeah. And yeah, you can go to a silent retreat to find that peace, but you can find it in between the noise.
Well, that's been my story. Yeah, 100%. I didn't have time to be going to retreats. I'm a mother of 3, and it is possible. It is possible.
Actually, when you find it in the noise, that silence within.
Yeah, it's potent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can find it anywhere then. Otherwise, you may think that you need to sit and meditate and just find the quiet time, but no, it's available everywhere.
That's right.
Returning back here. It doesn't depend on what's going on. Yeah. It depends on this.
Yes, but also the energetics, So for a while, the cry of my baby, for example, for some time would be, would give good. My whole body would shake, like clearly triggering all pre-verbal stuff. And now it's like music in my ears. I'm not saying I'm letting the baby cry, but it's like, oh, that baby is just crying. This is his expression. This is a song. This is a song.
Mm.
And yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Maria, for this
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
insightful conversation. Such a
With
pleasure
you.
to be with you.
Same. Hopefully I'll make it to Mauritius now that our friend is gonna move one day. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed meeting Maria. And you can find her on her website, and the link is below in the description. If you need help with your own inquiry, you can come to Liberation Unleashed website and find a forum. There are guides that will guide you for free. And if you need my assistance, you can send me an email and we can set up some sessions. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Bye for now.